if you have ever registered a company, one of the things that comes with it in Nigeria is that you are given a stamp. That if you stamp or a seal on any document, this is the company doing it. There's always a seal that you see in mainstream. That people who come from there, it's like God gives you a voice and a wisdom that is particularly going to do his purpose without you trying to. There are lands that God has no men, although there are men. What happens is that when people live in such places, they are not profitable for God's activity on the face of the earth. There are men, but God doesn't have one amongst them. So they are discolored, they are shapeless, they are formless. There is no apostolic voice that brings shape to the men that are rising there. I am excited for Leicester. I'm excited. When I look at the ministers of God, look at what God is doing here. When you go to a land where God doesn't have men, you may have, when Samuel came to the house of Eli, when he saw Eliab, he said, surely the Lord's anointed is here. But God said no. For Samuel to say surely, there was a witness. It means there was a time that God was there. If you want to marry a girl or a guy from a land where God doesn't have men, you may hear that this is the person until you get there and discover that the Samuel that should have done the job didn't do it. It's not like you heard wrongly. You can hear right, but there are many factors to have made that person who and other people that should have risen. Maybe the one that should rise and disciple the girl didn't go to the land. God was there, but now it will look like you heard wrongly because those that should bring the supplies didn't bring it. If God will find you as a man and put you in places, others' destiny will now materialize because you said yes. And it takes a depth of putting your life as a living sacrifice for God's activity on the face of the earth to now be complete, because you said what? If you live for yourself, you are not the only one that will suffer. There are those whose life is connected to those you should have helped. They will suffer, and those that will come from their loins will suffer. There are children on the streets today whose life is battered because those that should disciple their parents did not. It is a lie to think that if you fail to do it, God will always get someone else to do it. The activities of God and his agenda suffer on the face of the earth because it takes God time to find replacement. And what I've come to do tonight is that we will throw a rope and we will drag us into mainstream. That the quality of life you are living now will no longer be for you, but on the account of your devotion to God, both the seed in your loins and everyone you will encounter will be found relevant in God's activity, because you said what? Yes. That what informs the decision of your life will not be the kind of home you want to live, or the kind of money you want to have, or the kind of man. It will be that your life is poured out as a libation to God on the account of that sacrifice.